Yes, it was a delayed start to the most prestigious poker event on the planet. But we're here for you now, and we've hit the ground running. Players from near and far, professional and amateur, flock to the World Series of Poker to realize their dreams. Dreams of victory, of cash, of bracelets. Let the battles begin on a worldwide stage where anyone can win. The World Series of Poker on GG Online is indeed back, bigger than ever, and well worth the wait. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the World Series of Poker online on GG Poker. I'm Lon McCarran, glad to be here with my long time
Okay, enough of that. Yes, we've been together a long time. Get on with it.
Well, that's Norman Chad, folks, being Norman Chad, and I couldn't be happier. We're here to guide you through some highlights of one of the marquee events on this year's GG Poker WSOP Bracelet Series schedule, the 10K Heads-Up Championship. Big names, big money, and a WSOP bracelet at the end of the online rainbow.
Online is the future, and I'll tell you why. No flights to book, no clearing customs, no hotel reservations. You can play from anywhere in the world in your pajamas. Hey, I still dress up if it's online, but that's just me.
Man, nobody wants to envision you in your pajamas, really.
Okay, anyway, we'll hopefully always have the original in Las Vegas and World Series Europe and World Series Asia Pacific, but online the world can truly gather home by home by home.
The GG Poker Online Bracelet Series has been a hit right out of the gate, judging by the numbers from last year's events. There were 54 bracelet events on the schedule with total prize pools of almost $148 million, Norman.
If I had played last year, we would have blown by $150 million in total prize pools.
Of course, it set a Guinness Book of World Records also for the largest prize pool for an online poker tournament, a single tournament generating almost $28 million.
Well, as you said, it's a world record, but I don't need Guinness to tell us that. I can validate it myself. $27.5 million is the largest online prize pool ever.
5,802 participants, and it was led at the end by Stoyan Mandanziev, who won almost $4 million, and the bracelet, of course.
Yeah, 5,802 entries is a big number. Almost filled $4 million for first place is a big number. We don't need Guinness or Heineken or Samuel Adams to tell us that.
And, of course, this year's 5K main event still to be played online. It is guaranteed to have a prize pool of $20 million. And you can qualify for as little as $108. We will be here, Norman and I, to call the final table live for you Saturday, September 11th. All right, now we get ready for this 10K heads-up match. We had a total of 161 players, generating a prize pool of almost $1.6 million.
Yeah, originally, they had capped the field at 128, but interest was so high, they uncapped it, and as you said, 161 have entered. They would have gotten 162, but I prefer three-handed play to heads up.
All right, the prize pool, as I mentioned, almost $1.6 million. Minimum payout, just over $31,000. First place, worth $466,000 and cab fare.
Yeah, Elon, I don't even get out of bed for less than $50K, so I wouldn't want to play this event and finish 9th to 16th, $31K. First place, as you said, $466,000. That's a big difference.
A lot of the best heads-up players are here, and because the number was 161, a few were going to get first-round buys, but make no mistake, this was going to be one tough bracelet to capture. Our first highlighted match is from the round of 128. It features Frenchman Bertrand Elke Gropelier, a GG Poker ambassador, taking on GG Poker team champion Nicholas Astedt from Sweden. Elke's pre-flop raise was matched, and the two-time bracelet-winning Frenchman flops a set of sixes and nearly has his opponent drawing dead.
Elke bets on the flop. That is an Elke flop. I think you can request that flop at ggpoker.com up to 72 hours before play starts.
A call, king of clubs on the turn.
You know, that king is going to keep Astedt around for more punishment. Can't blame him if he thinks he has the best of it here. Actually, I thought I had the best of it for much of the 1990s. Man, was I wrong.
The river, another king. Disaster for Elke, his smaller boat about to be sunk.
That king, that should not be allowed. That run out should not be allowed. There's got to be some international law against a run out like that. A misdeal should be declared.
Astet sets the trap with a river check. Both players thinking, how can I get max value? Elke bets 23-2.
So Elke overbets the pot. Now Ashcott is going to check raise, and Elke is going to snap call, and then we're going to have to send an EMT unit over to Elke's home to pick him up off the floor.
Elke's bet designed to get his opponent's chips in the middle. Astet thinking the same thing. Astet, of course, moves all in. Elke makes the call, losing that monster pot. Elke flopped a set of nines later, was run down and knocked out when Astet rivered a flush. Next, we see Ryan Otto taking on the high-rolling venture capitalist film producer from Houston, Bill Perkins, both of these players with suited connectors. Otto on the button with a smaller hand but bigger stack, opening for a raise with 7-6 of clubs. Perkins has the action now. And he's going to 3-bet it to 8,400.
Perkins getting frisky. Perkins wakes up frisky.
Otto giving this some serious thought, and he makes the call. The flop gives Otto top pair and Perkins an open-ender.
Perkins will continue here, I believe, for about 9,900.
No, he bets 12,600.
Now, I can't play the hands for them, Lon.
Yeah, I really think that's okay for them. Perkins continuing his aggression, about 3/4 of the pot. Otto deliberate once again. He calls to see the 4 of spades come on the turn. Perkins now picks up a flush draw to go with his open-ender, but he's still behind.
Yeah, but more outs and more reasons to continue to posture here. He's even got a pair of 10s draw.
He says it's go time. Perkins all in.
Of course he bluff shoves. He's Bill Perkins. Yeah, it is confusing. You're up against Bill Perkins, Ryan. Ryan, he could have pocket 4s. Maybe he's got a pair of deuces, or maybe he's got a combo draw like he has.
Ryan Otto looking at a big pot to win or a big pot to lose. Otto musters a call to put Perkins at risk. 1 card to come. The river is a black king, but a club. Bill Perkins is left with 0 chips.
Perkins, he authored a book titled Die with Zero. I hope he's not dead.
Ryan Otto moves on. The next featured match pitted 2 of the biggest names in the game, both in the top 20 on the all-time money list. Isaac Haxton, number 16 on that list with about $28 million in winnings, and Jason Kuhn, number 10, with about $32 million in earnings. Kuhn had the chip lead when this hand took place. Jason with queen deuce, raising it up to 1760. Haxton with 5 deuce of clubs and high hopes.
2 great pros, born a month apart in 1985, both still looking for their first bracelet.
And Kuhn comes up large with trip queens. Jason with a small wager and a big lead.
Well, sometimes it's not what you flop, it's what you turn. I'd snap fold here, but maybe Isaac Haxton wants to float this flop.
Haxton comes along. Haxton picks up an up and down straight draw.
See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? Now Ike has a fighting chance against the trips.
Jason Kuhn has the action after Haxton's check. Bets 35-20, back to Haxton now.
Up and down straight draw.
A lot of options. None of them very good right now for Ike, though.
Well, he can still get there. I'm not sure what he's thinking right now. I certainly don't think he's going to fold. Actually, it's possible that, he actually is taking a look at a pot of boiling water over on his stove. So he's left the laptop for a little while because he wants to eat some pasta. Ike loves pasta.
Wow, a check raised to more than 13,000.
Well, that makes sense because now Ike might think that Jason Kuhn was trying to steal the pot in position. And, a check raise on the turn usually signals a very strong hand.
Well, Axton had outs, but the king on the end is not one of them.
Yeah, this is a bad spot for Ike Haxton right now. If I were him, I just wave the white flag and go enjoy some spaghetti marinara.
He would still have chips to play with if he does fold here. But this is Ike Haxton. A lot can happen. Haxton all in. Jason Kuhn with the call, bringing Haxton's latest bid for his first bracelet to an end. Kuhn remains in the hunt, seeking his first bracelet. On to the round of 64 now. German native Nico Koop with a 4-1 chip lead advantage on Canadian Sam Greenwood, gunning for bracelet number 2. Greenwood seemingly has not learned that 7-deuce off is the worst starting hand in Hold'em. Koop limped with queen tray of clubs. Sam playing his own private little 7-deuce game.
Sam, from the famed Greenwood boys, they used to rob banks. He and his brothers Lucas and Max, and now they play poker.
Well, a little raise makes it 10-5 to go from Greenwood.
Well, do you raise with 7-deuce? That's a kissing cousin to robbing banks.
The flop gives Koop 2 pairs. Sam still with 7-deuce, less than 1% equity.
I hope the 32-year-old doesn't continue in his attempts to rob the bank of Koop, because, sometimes the teller pushes that button underneath the ledge, and before you know it, you're in the hoosegow.
He does keep the charade up and gets called onto the turn. Queen of diamonds.
Oh, Lord. Sam now drawing deader than Frank and Jesse James.
Are Frank and Jesse James dead?
Yes, Frank and Jesse James are dead. That's why Sam is drawing deader than Frank and Jesse James, you imbecile.
All right, checked over to Koop.
Yeah, there's no draws out there, so I don't think you can get another penny out of Sam Greenwood here.
The king is inconsequential. Sam knows he's got to find some way to get Nico off his hand, and only one way to try and do that. Yeah, all in, but there's the call, and that coupled with a bad run out dooms Sam Greenwood. Nico Koop moves into the round of 32.
Well, he bluff shoved Sam Greenwood with 9 bigs left, and now he's off to the hoosegow.
Another round of 64 saw 2 of the best heads-up players in the game square off. GGPoker Ambassador and one of the best in the game, no matter the game, Fedor Holtz, putting his 100K stack up against Chris Kruk.
I much prefer playing Fedor Holtz online because, frankly, I don't like to look at him.
Fedor with a Jack-6 suited with a bet 2.5x. Kruk with a bigger suited cards.
Kruk in good shape here.
And a 3-bet from him.
Yeah, Kruk says, not on my watch, you precocious philanthropic piece of slime.
There's a call, and nobody writes a thank you note to GGPoker for that flop.
Now I got to say this. I hate playing Fedor out of position.
Like you would have his number in position?
I don't need his number. We're not dating. I'm just telling you I would crush him in position.
The turn makes things very interesting. A wheel draw on the board. Kruk with a flush draw. Fedor has outs, but he's an 8-1 dog.
Okay, now Fedor called Kruk's 3-bet pre-flop, and he called the flop, so Kruk's got to give him credit for something, I think, at this point, even though, to tell you the truth, I never give Fedor credit for anything other than the fact that he'll just bet with squadouche.
Fedor has the action, and he does bet less than half the pot. You have to take your time when you're up against Fedor. And he does make the call. The river couldn't have been saltier. A wheel on the board, but Fedor, harboring that 6, has the higher straight. It's check to him.
What the heck was that? That's ridiculous. I banned Fedor from my home game 3 years ago. Now I'm going to ban him from ever being online with me. I'm not even going to shop online with him.
Smart move. All right, so checked by Kruk. Happy to chop this pot if that's indeed what could happen.
There's no way that Kruk can put Fedor on a 6 here.
Wow, look at that. All in from Fedor. A huge decision, and Kruk makes the call, hoping to chop, but not to be. And that would be Kruk's last action. Fedor into the round of 32. One final matchup in the round of 64 to show you 2 popular and talented high-stakes players, GGPoker Ambassador Daniel Negreanu taking on one of the guys who was crushing online for so many years and is still crushing on GGPoker. It's Finland's Sami Kelapuro. Negreanu holds a 2-1 chip lead when we pick up the action. Fireworks expected. Sami dealt pocket 6s. D-Negs with ace-king.
Pocket 6s versus ace-king. The 33rd most common heads-up hand online.
Please, come on.
I've got the numbers in front of me.
All right, a 3-bet is called. And Sammy Caliparo flopping a set of 6s right off the bat.
Finish pro, another online savage with no regard for human life.
Daniel checking, drawing only to a chop at best, and that's a long shot.
Yeah, but Daniel with the ace-king, he'll probably hang around.
Sammy in the catbird seat. Bets about a quarter pot.
Yeah, one small bet on the flop is not going to get rid of Kid Poker.
He does call. Turn card. Negreanu now drawing dead, even though he's got a pair of aces.
Negreanu with 6 bracelets since 2013, partly because of hands like this, that is such an unfortunate ace for him on the turn.
Sammy has the action. Caliparo with about a 2/3 pot bet.
And Negreanu drawing dead isn't going anywhere.
Daniel, becoming a heads-up specialist himself, makes the call, and an even worse card on the river for him, Norman.
Oh, geez. Cruel turn and river for D-Negs. This is a worse run out than his first marriage.
Caliparo left with just about a pot-sized bet in his stack. Likely to bring it all here. And he does indeed.
Well, Daniel, aces and kings, he's got to come.
Yep, he does make the call. He'll lose that pot a short time later. Sammy eliminated Daniel in a set over set hand, and Caliparo on to the round of 32. There were some marathon matches, one lasting over 2 hours, and then there were some flash matches. Boom, boom, and done. But as usual, it was all very entertaining to this point, Norman.
Well, you're easily entertained.
True.
But indeed, we can never get enough of Fedor Holtz and Jason Kuhn and remarkable runouts. Plus, I got to believe somebody out there is playing in their underwear.
Our next show will be more highlights of this 10K heads-up field as it's pared down to its final 4. Then, on September 4th, we will be here live calling the action to show you a new bracelet winner. Thanks for tuning in. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. See you next time from the World Series of Poker.